Welcome back to Life Cues. Hope you had a great week. I think it's week 22, but I hate to say because sometimes I am wrong. So let's get started. Oh, we've got so many pages in here. Goodness sakes. It looks so nice. And one day I will write on the backs of them, I promise. Okay, so let's get started. Where did that bookmark? Oh, I made this. I was like, where'd this pretty bookmark come from? I made this. I just put a whole bunch of paint on a page and I swished it like that. And then I splattered it and then I stamped the whole page and then I cut them all up and used them for those thank you cards that I make. So pardon my hands. Actually, I got most of it off. This pink ink. I'm not bleeding, but I tried this process that somebody told me works. You know, you're supposed, I saw a video and you're supposed to put a string in some ink, put it in a blank book, and then pull the string out and you're supposed to come out with this gorgeous iris. Well, that's what I came out with. Then I mixed all the colors together and got a lovely brown, and then I came out with, it looks like a dinosaur or a monster man, and then I tried it down here. Let's see, where is it? Somewhere in here, but anyway, there, it's a straight line. It didn't work. I did everything you're supposed to do, and it did not work. Didn't work. So that brings us to our prompt, which it wasn't supposed to. I just wanted to try this. But it brings us to our prompt. If in life you don't succeed, you weren't supposed to. I'm not a believer in that try again. I mean, try another time, but don't beat yourself up by trying again. Case in point, this weekend, Sunday, today is Monday, I was supposed to go to Janet's granddaughter's baptism. Now, she calls me and Richard Nana and Papa just the same as our kids do, because her grandparents are of African descent and they actually live in Nigeria. So she and her other grandparents are from Britain. You've met Janet before. So they're Caucasian and her other grandparents are African. So we have always been in Janet's life and her daughter Joanna, like their whole family's life. So Avery started calling us Nana and Papa, Nana Monica and Papa Richard. And then it just went to Nana and Papa. And we became her sort of like surrogate grandparents. We're not replacing them, but you know, we're there and she sees herself in us. You know, that kind of, it's like seeing somebody that looks like you. So anyway, she's our surrogate granddaughter. And so it was her baptism. Little Avery came home and told her mom she wanted to be baptized. So her mom said, okay, if that's what you want, we're going to baptize you. So her baptism was on Sunday. And it was at 11 o'clock Mass. And then after the Mass was the baptism. And so I thought, oh, I can do that. And so Richard had already agreed he was going to go to Aussie's hockey game. And then Brody and all those kids were going to meet, and Richard and the kids were going to meet us at the luncheon after the baptism because Deanne was the godmother. So that's all fine. So I was going to the baptism. I was going to drive by myself. Richard was going to the game with them. All planned. Everything good. So, and those boys had slept over. So I got up with them in the morning and, oh, good. See you later. Bye. Bye-bye. Have a good game. You know, the usual. So then I had a coffee and made the mistake of laying my head back down on the pillow. And then I woke up really quickly and I looked at the clock and it was 11 o'clock. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be at the baptism right now. I mean, the Mass starts at 11 a.m. And albeit it was in St. Albert, still, you can't magically teleport yourself somewhere. So I got up really quickly. I got ready. I rushed and I got behind the wheel and everything. And then I thought to myself, you know what, Monica? Slow down. First of all, you don't drive that much anyway, so just slow down and cool your jets. If the universe made it so that you miss the first part of the Mass, so be it. Not the end of the world. Wasn't your day to be there. For some reason, you were supposed to stay sleeping. I had not been feeling well, so maybe God thought, you know what, she needs to sleep more than she needs to get up and not enjoy the rest of her day. So I got there, and of course there's no parking to be found. Not one single parking stop. Not one. So I finally just gave up, and I parked kind of in front of a fire hydrant, but not really. Like, it wasn't really that close. And so I went in. I didn't miss communion. And I walked past, and Avery saw her Nana, Monica, there. And she waved, and she looked so cute and everything. And I thought, you know what? Everything works out the way it's supposed to. The universe unfolds as it should. And we need to stop stressing about stuff like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. Oh my God. If you're late, you're late. Nothing's going to happen. Even if you miss a flight. Maybe you were supposed to. Everything, I am a firm believer in the universe unfolds the way it's supposed to. A lot of people don't believe that, but I do. I just think everything happens for a reason and the way it is supposed to. We maybe don't like it, but that's the way it is. So if you can see this paper that I'm adding to my page, it is actually a white IKEA napkin, and I rested some paper clips and bobby pins, and they rested like in 5 minutes with this recipe I had. If you want to know how to do it, I'll put the link to my blog, because it's on my blog, the recipe and everything, and it worked so quickly and so fast. I was so impressed. I think there's one on this paper clip on this card here. Don't know if you can see it, but it was like a silver paper clip, and after 5 minutes it was all rusted. So I was blotting them, I strained them, and then I poured them on a napkin on a paper plate just so they could dry out. And when I saw this yummy color, I was like, oh, I can't throw that away. So I just let it dry, and using it in my life cues. So I'm just using an emery board to make a nice clean edge there. And I find it works great on tissue paper or anything like that that's kind of delicate, just to shred, oopsie, get the edge off. So I'll finish up this page. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply this really pretty turquoise paint. It's Amsterdam series, and I think it's just called, oh, they call it Sky Blue Light, but it's a real pretty turquoise. And I'm going to do very similar to what I did on that tag. And I'm going to add some gesso too for white. I could just use white paint, but got the gesso right here in front of me. Might as well use it. So I'll use this. I got this at Bix Art Supplies in California. And it's those things you can use to, you know, that kind of thing. I'm just going to put a little bit of white around with this. And I'll probably use this to scrape across anyway. I want to be really gentle because the tissue isn't quite 100% dry. And then I'll take some blue, some dots of blue. Ooh, that's a lot. I don't need that much. Thank you. There. So now I'm going to take this big thingy, a spatula. They call it, they don't call it anything, it's just called a Catalyst Artist Brush. And just, you know, mix up the colors a bit. Be careful because the background is still a little bit not 100% dry. Take some of this extra blue here and run it along the sides just to give it a nice, I like the colors of turquoise and rust together. I don't know why, I just think it looks so pretty. And then I'm just going to take my heat gun and dry all this up a little bit. I'll go on a little bit more white right here and there. So, because you see how I don't want to tear, whoa, like that. So I'll dry it now, start messing with it. So that's all dry. It looks so nice, doesn't it? Can you hear the wind outside? Got the window open. It is crazy. It's been rainy and now windy all last couple of days. I'm taking one of these little sponge applicators and I'm just going to do my edges in gesso. It gives a little tiny bit more texture than ink, especially if it's on top of a napkin. But you know, we were talking as a family about, you know, the system of now when kids participate in sports. It's supposed to be non-competitive and there is no winner and you don't give awards or you don't reward the winners. And I'm like, we are an extremely competitive family, so we don't believe any of that. Because I think some kids are meant to shine in athletics, in academics, in whatever, and let them shine. That might be their one moment. And if your child isn't that child, he wasn't supposed to today. It wasn't his turn. It was this other child's turn. Maybe the other kid was having a horrible day. And the only thing he had to show for his day was his wonderful red ribbon from running a race or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have to show kids that you can't be the best in everything you do. You try your best. Do your best. But it doesn't mean you're going to be number one all the time or on that day. You just pull up your socks, put on your big girl panties, and you try again another day. Don't beat yourself up. It's just kind of like, oh well, today I would have loved to have won. Would have loved to have won that Olympic gold medal, but today it didn't work out. And congrats to the person that did. I would have loved to have been at Avery's baptism first thing in the morning. But it didn't work out, and it all worked out after. I went to the lunch. We had a lovely time. Spent time with their family and our family, and it was beautiful. And no one judged me at all. As a matter of fact, Janet even said, I so appreciate that you came today because I know you haven't been feeling good. You know? So we're too hard on ourselves. We expect too much of ourselves, and we're constantly hearing is, win, win, win. If you're not number one, then you're nothing. Second place is the first place loser. You know what I mean? Let's let the universe unfold the way it is. Let's let those people who are number one on that date be celebrated instead of us pouting that we aren't that person. You can be disappointed, but you don't have to pout. I can be upset. I could have turned around and I was going to use this tag, but I don't know. It's so dull, you know, compared to this. We'll see. You know, I could have been upset and turned around and went home and just went back to bed and just said, that's it, I didn't go. I'm going to be late, so why bother going? No. Just walked on in, held my head up high, and carried on, you know? So once that dries, I think I'll put some little whites. Actually, I can do it right now. Some white splatters on. Fitzy shush. That's my dog. My door is closed, and he's kind of mad because he wants to go outside. Go out. Always thinks he's missing something, and then if I close the door and I'm in here, he wants to be in here. He misses his buddy Percy. Right, Fitzy? We all miss Percy Purse. Okay. There. Oh yeah, that's getting better and better and better and better. Keep adding that texture, people. There. So I found this strip of paper. I was using this for some journals. Got the idea from Abby from Purple Cottage Crafts. Hi, Abby. But you cover one side of your printed paper with pattern paper. Isn't that cool? So to keep in the theme of this crinkly mess, I am going to somehow use this. I'll use it up to here. I'll cut that part off right here. And I'm going to, it's not very good, make it into kind of a, like a banner. There, there's one end's cut like that, and the other like so. There. Then I'm going to use some Tim Holtz Distress ink on this tag. I'm not sure if I want to do it more bluey or what. Probably. So I'm going to play around with this tag first. So let's move the book out of the way and I'll get my Distress ink. So I used Distress ink on this paper, as you can see. And I went around it. I did Salty Ocean Distress ink first. And then I did Vintage Photo around the edges. So now I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of water on it, because I am just sucker for the reaction that happens when you add water to Distress ink. It doesn't even matter if the water is not clean water, because that just came out of my paint jar, but I love it. Grab a baby wipe, clean up my mess here while I'm waiting for the reaction. And then I'm just going to write, once it dries, I'm just going to write on top of this. If at first you don't succeed, you weren't supposed to. That's what I'm writing. Yeah. So I doctored up my little strip there. I used that same Distress ink all over it, like I said. And then I wrote, if at first you don't succeed, you weren't supposed to. Then I just did some little tick marks around, and then I took this beautiful silk ribbon that I got in, I belong to a Yarn of the Month club called Darn Good Yarn, and this came in the kit the first time, and I love it. It's sari ribbon. Beautiful, from Indian saris. So I'm going to put that down here, sort of like that. But before I do that, I don't want to waste all this paper, you know, this tissue. So I'm going to take my glue and just, I hope I can get it out because it's almost at the end. Let me find here's a gluey brush that I've ruined on glue. So I will just add it across here. And now that the background is dry, you can pretty much do what you want because the tissue isn't as delicate. So I'm just going to lay that across there in no particular style. I'm going to start in the middle and then kind of bunch it up so that the ends at least kind of come to here, about there. Yeah, that's good. Squish it all up. I've got these songs in my head. I'm in a musical theater recital thing on Wednesday night, and I have to learn the words to the song, so while I'm doing my art, I'm just singing and practicing. Kind of funny. If you only knew what went on while the camera wasn't on, right? Yeah, so I'm just going to glue that kind of down. So here's my finished page up close, so you can see the background with that really rusty colored napkin, and it was colored with gesso and some acrylic turquoise paint. It looks really pretty. And all the way down here. And there is my banner. If at first you don't succeed, You weren't supposed to. I tied it with that really pretty sari ribbon. I kind of let it fray. I think it's sari. I'm not sure the word sari or sorry. Then I gessoed the banner a tiny bit. Don't know what that is. There. Gessoed the banner up a little bit. Just a teeny bit. And then these clay hearts. I had made these out of dollar store clay and then stamped on them. That one cracked when I was putting it on, but you can't really tell. Then I just applied some gesso, but what they were stained with originally was the leftover rust formula that I rusted my paper clips with. I'll show you one without the gesso on it, like that. So I just painted it on top of it. So they're just plain, you know, that clay you get at the dollar store. I cut them in heart shapes and decorated them up. I don't even remember what stamp I used, quite honestly. And yeah, so I gessoed them up, put the date on, June 11th, and that's it. It's very simple and cleanish, but it's not simple. It's simple, but it's, you know what I mean. So there is my page, and I hope you guys like it. I really do believe that if first you don't succeed, or if first you don't make it on time, or if you're late, and it doesn't mean to be habitually late or habitually don't try. Always try your best to be there. But if that doesn't happen, if your best isn't good enough on that day, that's okay. It wasn't supposed to be. It isn't your turn. Maybe tomorrow it is. But don't lose heart and don't fret about it. So that's my page. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.